Where did all the databases go? This is MacVoices. MacVoices is supported by Zocdoc. Find local doctors who take your insurance. Learn more at zocdoc.com/MacVoices. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. This is the third in a three-part MacVoices live conversation. This time we wrap up by looking at an article about one PC user who switched to the Mac for one particular program, and why that is such a surprise given the fact that databases seem to have largely disappeared from the personal computing space. Let's go back and let the panel do the talking. I just threw in the chats the last article that we kind of had slated tonight. One application that caused this author to switch to the Mac. And of all things, and of all nights for Jim Ray not to be here, I would love to hear Jim's take on this, because it is a relational database. I was not familiar with this program. I looked it up, and it looks like something I'm going to have to take a look at. Especially given that Jim is on the panel here, and Panorama's been around for so long. But it is interesting, I think, and I think we've touched on this a little bit, that so many of the programs we use now are basically databases. They just aren't promoted as databases. They're promoted as more application specific. And so what this particular program does, seems to fit this gentleman, and maybe it fits a lot of us. I'm anxious to look at it. Anybody else feel like there's a big hole in their life that a database could fill?
Really. I mean, I looked at what he used, and why he used it was Microsoft Access, and that's always been a pain point with database programs, because FileMaker, let's face it, it's very pricey, and he even says that in an article that that's why he didn't even think to look at that, because of its price. But I didn't think that this application would be in a direct replacement of Access, because Access is a pretty powerful database program. I mean, it's a step below Microsoft SQL Server. So interesting to see where he's thinking here that this database program is going to help him. Apparently, it does. So I mean, that he opted to write this article. So
there was a time that I used Access for some projects where I was working, and it was a royal pain.
It's very tough. It's very difficult. You have to really, it's just like FileMaker. You have to, I mean, it's got,
you have to commit.
You got to commit. Both those applications have their fans, have their, that enjoy using both of them. FileMaker has its quirks, and so does Access. And you really have to be really good at it. Plenty of companies were writing these Access databases to crash the numbers that they need to, especially you and I, Chuck, being in the industry we're in, that's a big thing. Premiums crashing the numbers there, and all that stuff. That Access databases were good at that. But sometimes those databases can get very large and very crazy, huge, to a point that you have to expand it. You had to go to like a SQL Server and create a front end that way, back end, and then have a front end on that. So. But Access always fit most people's needs when it came to that. So apparently this application for him does too.
Yeah. I got to thinking back about, the early Office suites, if you will, and most of them had a database. Apple Works on the Apple II had a database.
Microsoft Works did too.
Sure. All those did. And somewhere along the way, I don't know if it's that the companies realized that people weren't using them, or weren't using them as much as maybe they would other things,
right?
And they stopped providing them, or like so many things, I don't need to write my own recipe database. I can get this application or app now that will do a better job of it, and it's geared for that specific purpose.
Well, that's what Backend Web, that's what client-server web applications became. Basically, it became the database.
Right.
For people. And it wasn't Foxit or Fox, wasn't there something with a Fox for Mac? There was a database a long time ago before.
Ooh, that sounds familiar.
Foxit database. I'll look it up or something like that. but I thought it was big. But yeah, no, everything. Something to do
Fox
with
Pro.
Fox. Yeah, maybe Fox Pro. That sounds right.
Fox on the Run.
Fox on the Run. Man on the Run.
Well, Fox Pro, according to Wikipedia, Fox Pro was a text-based, procedurally oriented programming language and database management system.
Yeah, that was a big one for the Mac as for one of them. I remember using that. Yes, I mean, again, the database, people started using Access. Access was a big thing for me like 10 years ago, and then it went away. Yeah, everybody's doing web-based stuff.
Yeah. Okay, Web wins it. He says, who remembers PFS file?
I remember seeing a box for it.
I remember it real well. Yep.
Webb used to crank to the front of his car to start it up, as I recall.
And Paul's saying fourth dimension. Yep. Webb says Foxbase ended up a Microsoft app.
Wasn't.
Yeah. So, but even today, I mean, FileMaker. One of the big innovations with the new version of FileMaker when they made the switch over to what is current was that it's basically a front end for a database.
Right.
That you're tagging clips and you're allocating them, and so that way you can manage projects easier. And that took a little while to wrap your head around that. Once you do, it makes perfect sense because it's all just everything is all just data.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Well, this was the big companies, right? SAP, Oracle. That's what they did. They were basically database companies. One of my first jobs was for a company that made database products, and they did well until they didn't, and then that's
kind of how it works, Warren.
Yeah, they were doing great until nobody was buying database products anymore because that's all I had. But people's something to do with people. I forget, but all these back-end database companies that started doing really big with the SAP and back-end databases were like, what people were using at one point, and they're gone too for the most part.
But if you think about just about any kind of corporate system, I mean, it has to be by its nature database driven. They may put pretty front ends on it, and it may not require things like manual sorting or the kind of things that we might think of with databases. But because I'm thinking of a couple of systems, David, in our industry where, they're sitting on people's desks and people are entering information into them and it's being aggregated on the back end and, then processed.
Yeah. Maximo. IBM's Maximo.
Yeah.
SQL's one of the biggest ones.
Yeah. So maybe the moral of this story is, go check out this product. What was it called? It started with an N.
It was called a PFS file.
No, not that one.
Oh,
it was. I think it started with an N.
Yeah, hang on. Just scroll. I love the way he kind of buried the lead. It's like, okay, I had to get the whole way to the bottom. He had to go through his entire history before naming this.
He had a picture of a friggin' Mac clone on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember this.
Ninox.
Ninox. Yes.
I heard of it. Yeah.
Yes.
It's in the Mac App Store, actually.
Yeah. So if if this is something you want to play with, Brad says, anyone remember DB Master? Yes, I remember. I remember the manual for DB Master. That's pathetic.
I mean, it seems a little silly that this whole database app made them. There's so many other better reasons to switch to a Mac.
Yeah, especially he said 40 years.
Yeah, really. I mean, we should have told him like 20 years ago that, don't wait this long.
Yeah, but if this is what you need to do, and sounds like he just never paid that much attention to it. That what he was using was good enough, and then he found something that's light years better.
That's a thing.
A lot of times,
yeah. Don't we all do it?
I mean,
the operating system and the computer that it's on just isn't as important as it used to be.
Well, that's what I said last week, or when we were talking. You could do almost anything you need to do, whether it's a Mac or a PC at this point,
or Linux.
Yeah.
See, Linux and Chrome, I'll put an asterisk next to because I'm not quite sure about that.
Chrome, but you have to own a power plant.
Yeah. No, for Windows and Mac at least, I can't. There's ways to do it. Some ways are better on different platforms, but There's ways to do it, whatever you're trying to do. But, again, if a database program is better on a Mac and he likes it, then yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing more and more things go cross-platform. In fact, witness just this week, 1Password finally came out.
That's everywhere now.
Based on Electron.
That's right. It's not in CarPlay.
Yeah, that can cross over.
How would that work, Frank?
I don't know. It's like,
let me follow my password on the touchscreen in my car.
You could lock.
Damn it, 14 characters.
You could lock your kids out of Sirius XM on certain shows. They couldn't listen to Rogan or something. I don't know.
No, you just do that with a database.
Well, no, it's got Face ID, so you just stare at it. When you need a password.
Oh, man.
What's that password?
Oh my gosh.
We got through things quick tonight, guys. This was
nice.
We sounded intelligent.
Well,
until I got here.
Yeah.
Well, we were organized. We're very organized tonight.
Let's not go too far. So we have a couple minutes, so I'll do something we usually don't get to do because usually we're running along. I'll ask anybody in the chat room, do they have anything in the news this week that caught their attention? I'm kind of curious. I know one thing that caught mine was that Apple stock was on sale this week.
Yeah.
So,
God. I've been watching mine go down. It's like, please. Yeah. I heard someone again today. Some analyst said they're putting a price point at 210.
Right.
And I'm like, what year? What generation?
It was before the last split.
Yeah.
I don't know. Frank, I guess the way I look at it, I mean, you think about all the news about Apple, they're suffering maybe more so now than they have in the past with some of the same challenges everybody else is. But the demand is still there. They've still got the products. They've still got stuff people want. And so I just because you can't get it doesn't mean you don't want it. And I know we've had part of this discussion before, but if you really want an Apple product, are you going to go out and buy something else? Mm-hmm. At times, there are going to be circumstances that's true, but I think for the most part, you'd rather wait. I'd rather wait.
Unless you're on like a 2013 or 2014 MacBook, you'll be fine until they have something in stock for you.
I have a 2015 iMac. And I was going to buy the new 24-inch M1. I swear to you, I went there to order, didn't pull the trigger, and they said they could get it to me in maybe 2 weeks. I went back the next day and decided I'm buying it. It had now moved to 2 months.
Yeah.
That's why I ended up buying the M1 MacBook Air and the Samsung M8. Go online every morning and check. At 10 o'clock. I did. It was driving me nuts.
The MacBooks that they say aren't available. Wake up tomorrow.
Yeah, they are.
And there they are.
I just put an order in, and Apple's at time estimates with bumping a MacBook Pro, the M1 Pro 16-inch, 7 to 9 weeks.
Yeah, but I'm getting more at the bomb end. I'm not dealing the high end like you guys.
Yeah, but David, aren't you seeing that with custom builds?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I checked. Out of curiosity, I checked to see just a base build of a 14-inch or a 16-inch. It was about 5 to 7 weeks out right now, and sometimes up to mid-July.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, that doesn't make any sense because I know just today on Amazon I saw the new 16-inch MacBook Pro they had like for $250 off. Now I did not look at it because I wasn't in the market, but it passed by and it's like, okay, that's interesting.
They have stock, maybe they may be out there.
So, usually entry level specs.
Exactly, Frank. Exactly.
So just open it up and put more RAM in.
Get your soldering out. Get your soldering out.
Yeah.
The base level,
lightsaber.
June 30th is the earliest you can get it. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
For just 14-inch.
Well, I'll just stick with my good old little M1 Mac Mini here. I'm quite happy with it.
So I have a 14-inch MacBook Pro. If anybody's interested in offers start at let's go $1,800. Let's start the bidding at 1,800.
I'm
That's
selling
not
an
an M.
abacus.
Yeah. But that's not a Warren. That's not an M1, is it?
It's the M1 Max. It would Pro. It's a 14-inch new one.
But why are you selling it?
Yeah. Why are you selling it?
Well, for the right price, I'll sell anything.
Does your family know
Oh.
this?
Huh?
Does your family know this?
No,
This
but
attitude you have?
can I just say something?
They might
Well, he's
wanna
got
lock
this
their
scar
doors.
right where his kidney used to be. So,
I,
you know,
I so
they're
badly
aware.
wish Jeff.
All right,
I
so
so badly
listen.
wish
Listen.
Jeff Gammett were
I
here.
sure was. Jeff was here.
This edition of MacVoices is supported by Zocdoc. Find local doctors who take your insurance. Finding and booking a doctor who's right for you doesn't need to be a terrible experience. Will they take your insurance, understand your needs, or be available at a time you can see them? With Zocdoc, the answer can be a refreshingly pain-free yes on all counts. Zocdoc is a free app that shows you doctors who are patient-reviewed, take your insurance, and are available when you need them. You're busy, right? I know I am. Finding something that works for my schedule is a challenge. After all, who's the patient here? With Zocdoc, not only find the doctor who is right for you, but also get the appointment that works in your schedule. In the chaotic world of today's healthcare, let Zocdoc be your trusted guide to find a quality doctor in a way that is surprisingly pain-free. With Zocdoc, you can get your docs in a row. Go to Zocdoc.com/MacVoices and download the Zocdoc app for free. Then start your search for a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc.com/MacVoices. Zocdoc.com/MacVoices. Thanks to Zocdoc for their support of MacVoices.
Guys, this is important. Best Buy, 14-inch MacBook Pro, Apple M1 Pro chip, latest model, 16 gig, the 1 terabyte. Available tomorrow. Pick up tomorrow. Order it and get it by May 12th online at Best Buy.
How much?
Same price. I mean, Apple Care, all that good stuff. So I don't know, you know.
You know, it's really
They
weird.
have
Have
stock.
you ever noticed on Amazon, they've been cutting back the price on the AirPods Max,
16-inch
But-
get tomorrow.
but it depends
Best Buy.
on the color you buy.
Every Best Buy in my locations, in my area, have both the 14 and 16-inch base in stock. Get them tomorrow. And actually,
Wow.
and if you want to get, they even have an open box. Look at that. Excellent condition for 22, 24. So, you know, you could wait, guys, for the 6 weeks, or you could cancel the order and go to Best Buy and get the exact same machine from
Yeah,
from
but
the
you
exact
live in the neck of
company.
the woods with money.
What?
I said,
You
you
don't-
live up in the neck of the woods with money.
Where are you? Where do you live? Jersey up? Jersey, right?
Yeah, I'm down outside of Philly in Voorhees near Cherry Hill.
Yeah, Cherry Hill has a Best Buy. I've been there. Go.
No, I know. We had the first mall in the U.S., but I used to work up at King of Prussia at Bennigan's when I was in college.
King of Prussia has a Best Buy too. Go.
Bennigan's is selling MacBook Pros.
Yeah, you get nachos and a
MacBook Pro.
14-inch Max Pro.
But it's underneath to keep the nachos, the cheese warm.
So Brett in the chat room, I think, thank you, Brett. I think you illustrated my point. Back in February, I had to wait 5 weeks for an iPad Mini 6. It was totally worth the wait.
There you go.
All
There
right,
you go.
Best Buy has the iPad Mini 6 in stock.
Warren's a little hung up on Best Buy here for some reason.
Oh,
I'm not
he
hung
loves-
up at Best Buy. I'm
He's
hung
got
up.
stock.
I'm not
get a
hung up on
commission?
Best Buy at all. I'm hung up on the fact that Apple's telling me that I have to wait 2 months for a laptop I could get tomorrow, and then there's no difference between that and the two stores.
Is there stock at CompUSA?
There might be. Why don't you go tomorrow and check it out?
Circuit City?
Okay, that's it.
Circuit City is still around.
Computing.
I still have a Circuit City.
We're going to get out of here early for a change because this is
Wait,
just
wait.
going downhill.
Kelly
This is
might
just-
come back.
No, I know. I
Oh,
don't know. I
shit.
think Kelly's deep in her presentation,
She's
assuming she
presenting.
had one. So we'll have some fun with her next time she's on.
Yeah.
Folks, listen. If there was ever any reason for you to support MacVoices on Patreon, it's going to be to see the After Dark show on this. When Kelly popped on early, and
Yeah.
we had to tell her that she was doing a user group appearance that she had completely forgotten about. The look of terror on Kelly's face.
Yeah.
It was priceless.
I thought she was kidding, and then I'm like, oh crap!
She
Yeah.
knew right away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, her eyes popped out of her head.
Yeah, that was classic.
Nice.
Let's go around the table, let you know where you can find these people if you really want to, and then we'll get out of here. I'm going to do it in reverse. I'm going to give Guy Serle, since he was late coming, we'll let him.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah,
no problem.
Email is podcast@vertshark.com, guy@mymac.com. Vertshark.com is the website for all of the odds and all of the vids. Mac Parrot and Vertshark are the Twitter handles, and mymac.com podcast is the podcast, and Guy's Daily Drive is where I drive and livecast at the same time, because that's never a bad idea.
Yeah.
And I even wake up and watch it.
Yeah, I know. I
Safety
saw you yesterday.
He watches it while he drives.
No, I'm an hour earlier, so I'm still getting ready for work. So he's driving to work.
And so, as opposed to turning on the Today Show or Good Morning America, you turn on Guy Serle.
Mondays and Fridays, usually Mondays and Fridays around 8 a.m., like 7:45 to 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You'll find me live casting over there on the Book of Faces.
Thanks for being.
I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm just saying that's what I do.
Yeah, it's there. Yeah, but I feel bad for you tonight. There's no cat.
She has been jumping in and out ever since.
Back there.
Yeah. She was on the desk behind me for a little bit. I think she's in the window over here now, or maybe she finally decided to leave. I can't remember. No, she's gone. I opened the door and let her out. That was jelly.
Best Buy to buy a MacBook.
She's gone. She's gone.
Okay, so last piece of advice here from Brett. He said, don't buy open box from Best Buy. He said, I learned my lesson last year. The camera I got was missing parts, and it had the previous owner's receipt for medication in it.
Okay.
I have an open box
that's something
from Best Buy.
Yeah.
If you buy, you go 3 days after the Super Bowl. People go in and buy the biggest, most expensive TVs for the party. Then they return it 3 days later. And you can pick it up for about, it used to be about 25% less.
Whoever that was had a bad experience. I've bought in so many open boxes at Best Buy that is like not even funny of everything I could find.
That's rare, I think.
So,
I've been using this for 5 years.
Yeah, no, I'm sure, but I've like
return the camera, keep the receipt for the medication. Job done.
Or get the medication and
and it won't matter.
Medication, yeah.
Yeah.
You could buy something. Oh, go ahead.
Yes. Speaking of medication, Warren, where can we find you?
I'll also be at the local Best Buy with medication. And yes, I will be there. Medication, that's funny. Here doing this show. I'll do Thursday's show with In Touch iOS. Facebook is still around this week. The Back to the Future webpage is still around. So far, so good. And other than that, I'll be between houses. So that's what I'm doing. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here, Warren. Mr. Petrie, where can folks find you and your green tinged hair?
I'm in Joyzy. I'm in Joyzy. I'm slowly cleaning up the desk. As, like I said, the new MacBook Air is coming in the Samsung M8. But online, you can find my website, ympnow.com. I write a monthly article for Screencasts Online. And on Tuesdays, well, now that I'll be getting a new computer and it'll be working theoretically, I should be here on Tuesday nights.
Great.
In theory.
Well, it'll be good to have you on a more consistent basis, right?
Well, I like to be consistent. It feels good.
I'm moving on. David Ginsburg. Working. I was going to say, speaking of consistent, but that
I was going to say, I didn't say regularity. I said consistency.
Yeah. David, where can we find you?
Thanks for having me as always, Chuck. I'm at In Touch with iOS at intouchwithios.com. Mr. Guy Serle will be on the show this week. You also can find me on my YouTube channel at youtube.com/DaveG65. I'm here on Tuesday nights for the Mac Voices Live. On Fridays, I'm on the British Tech Network on the Mac Show, and I'm on Twitter at DaveG65. Thank you, Chuck.
Great. Thank you, David. Good to have you as always.
Thanks.
Folks, thank you for tuning in. This is Mac Voices Live. We do this Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, whatever time that is, wherever you are, on youtube.com/MacVoicesTV. We'd love to have you join us. It was a good group in there tonight. They were throwing a lot of wisdom around and a lot of comments, and they were also having some side conversations of their own, which is just the way it works. What can I tell you? But sign up, support us on Patreon. Any Patreon support level gets you access to Mac Voices After Dark and the Mac Voices Slack. We really appreciate the support, and would love to have you join us in our conversations on the Mac Voices Slack. With that, I'm Chuck Joyner. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with Mac Voices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices, or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.